We all know the sequence. You read the advice, you set a firm goal to stop a bad habit, and you form a plan to stay calm or be productive. But the moment the pressure hits, your brain goes completely offline. You react in the exact same chaotic way you always do. The gap between your conscious intent and your physical execution is the most universal friction in human behavior. The failure is a hardware problem between these two structures. Up top is your prefrontal cortex. It handles conscious thought and abstract goals. It acts like a startup incubator, flexible but slow and incredibly energy-intensive. Deep below it is the basal ganglia. This is the factory. It operates entirely in the background, executing automated habits at high speed while using almost no energy. When you make a conscious plan to break a habit, you are generating a transient spark in the prefrontal cortex. But when you are stressed, the basal ganglia fires a high-speed pulse down a heavily reinforced superhighway. The spark simply cannot stop the pulse. The conscious mind is physically overridden by the automated network. This structural dominance means your existing habits are physically faster than your willpower. To shift the outcome, we have to stop relying on thought and build a physical friction protocol designed to wire new goals directly into your automatic hardware. Identify one specific, recurring behavioral failure you want to fix. Maybe you hit the snooze button every morning, or maybe you check your phone during awkward conversations. You must isolate that exact goal. Right now, your goal is a thin intention. Look at the comparison on screen. Your conscious goal is like this translucent light bulb, an abstract thought made of transient electrical energy. It has no physical density. Your existing bad habit is the dense brick on the right. It is physically constructed out of insulated neural pathways. This text represents your conscious goal. It lacks the structural weight required to stop your hand from reaching into your pocket at a party. The dense, thick neural pathway of your existing habit will push through this flimsy rule every time. To solve this, we are going to use a step-by-step blueprint to force the nervous system to upgrade its hardware. The first step of the protocol is complete. We have identified your thin intention. Because mental rules lack physical weight, the prefrontal cortex is at a massive mechanical disadvantage during an emotional spike. To succeed, we have to move our strategy outside the skull. Mentally replay your most recent failure regarding this goal. Do not judge your character. Just observe the memory like a mechanic inspecting a recorded engine failure. Your automated operating system does not understand abstract goals like health. It sits in the dark and waits for specific sensory data from the outside world to tell it which motor program to execute. The silence in the room acts as a physical trigger. You need to isolate the exact environmental cue that initiated your system crash. Was it the cold air hitting your face at 5:30 a.m.? Was it a specific tone of voice from a coworker? Once you identify that physical trigger, you can see the relationship to the motor action.
The cold air triggered the arm reaching for the snooze button. The silent room triggered the hand reaching for the phone. Step 2 is now complete. We have mapped your environmental trigger. Diagnosing this specific cue is the prerequisite to intercepting the response. Without the cue, you cannot alter the outcome. Now that you know the cue, design a physical change to your environment that will directly disrupt it the next time it happens. You must replace your abstract mental resistance with a concrete physical barrier in the real world. Your brain uses your body to test hypotheses about the environment, so we are going to change the environment the body interacts with. If your trigger is the cold air at 5:30 a.m., the friction is moving the alarm clock into the bathroom, forcing your body to walk. If your trigger is a heated argument, the friction is physically walking out of the room. Look at the difference. On the left, the person uses willpower to resist a device that is inches away. On the right, they physically place the phone inside a drawer and shut it. The physical space now handles the resistance that conscious thought cannot sustain. That completes the design phase. The third checkmark is in place. You have engineered a physical barrier. Lasting change requires you to manipulate the physical world. You are forcing the brain to test a new physical hypothesis against reality. The very next time your environmental trigger occurs, you must execute your new friction. You must leave the phone in the drawer or walk across the cold floor to the bathroom.
Your body will experience a physiological stress response. Your heart rate will spike, and you will feel an intense urge to execute the old familiar habit. This physical resistance is called endogenous feedback. When your body tests a new hypothesis, like walking away instead of yelling, your nervous system compares the expected outcome of the old habit with the results of the new action. This comparison generates a dopamine prediction error signal, which functions as the biological architect of learning. This dopamine signal instructs the brain to wrap the new neural connection in fatty insulation called myelin. This process physically thickens the new pathway, structurally reinforcing the new behavior. Step 4 is complete. You have executed the action and tolerated the friction. The emotional discomfort you feel in that moment is the metabolic sensation of your brain forging a new connection. By following this protocol, you have shifted from an anxiety-producing intention to a concrete environment change. Through the repetition of this physical action, the conscious mind eventually drops the problem. The prefrontal cortex no longer needs to waste energy on troubleshooting. The behavior eventually graduates from the prefrontal cortex down to the automated circuitry of the basal ganglia. Your body begins to execute the new action with the same speed and efficiency once reserved for your bad habits. Insight is only a map, but physical action is the territory. You cannot wire a new behavior through thought alone. Stop troubleshooting in the mental incubator and go test your physical hypothesis.